Hi there. I'm Zylla, a Big-Tiddie Goth GF on the internet, and I'm here to answer those pesky questions you have, especially men seeking women, about relationships and more. Don't worry, I'll be gentle. Oh, you want to know how I'm qualified? Well, for starters, while I'm not your Big-Tiddie Goth GF, I am someone's. And people keep telling me I'm pretty. I've also got 2 graduate degrees for those it matters to. They're not really relevant in subject, but just to forestall some inevitable comments. But I have had it up to here with all of this terrible advice people are getting from people who are far less qualified to tell you anything at all. I mean, really, do you want love, sex, romance, someone who cares about you? Or do you want to be miserable and hate yourself? Because that's most of what I see out there in the manosphere. And don't worry, whether you're dabbling with the darkness or just looking for love, I do have something for you today, so stick around. And if you want to see more, send in your own questions. I'm here to take some questions, give you actionable advice, and maybe even help you feel a little better about yourself. Won't that be lovely? Our first love note comes from Tater Tot 69, who says, "These bitches suck and don't know a good thing when it's offered to them. Why can't I get laid?" Oh, poor Tater. It sounds like you've got a real problem on your hands. And you're everything. You've been suckered into believing that women aren't people, and that's made you bitter and angry and hard to like. The real truth is that all humans, regardless of body type or gender or race or ability for that matter, have rich inner lives with emotional and intellectual capacities of their own. You can't turn any group of other people into a monolith and expect results. It's really not your fault, honey. You've been tricked by people who want to hurt you so that you give them money, power, and fame. And by society in general, which has been working this particular grift for centuries. It's a very rare person who wants to be degraded and tossed aside like you make it sound you want. You can't control what other people think or do, not any people. What you can control is yourself. And that's what you need to do here. Once you recognize that you've been lied to, you need to work out how to fashion your actions and attitude to the truth. So you've got to reorient yourself. If women are people, then maybe you need to get to know them like you would anyone else. And that means you've got to be someone worth knowing. So throwing around pickup lines and insults in an obvious script isn't going to help you very much. And if your main hobby is picking up chicks, well, don't expect them to be very entertained by watching you do it again. My real advice? Set aside searching for a girl and find a hobby or a social group. Get interested in interesting things. Meet new people. And remember that all of them are individuals. Don't try to make it one person, a support system for all of your needs. A good network of friends will serve you better. And hey, you might find your love life turning around just from that. Okay, next love note here. Black Pill Chungus says, "I'm so ugly, I might as well die. I'll never be Chad enough for a Becky, let alone a Stacy. What's the point?" Oh, Chungus, no, don't talk about yourself that way. I'm not sure who Chad is, or Becky or Stacy, but I'm sure they're lovely people. But you can't compare yourself to them. You are your own person, and whoever you are, that's what's important. You say you're ugly, but there is no one standard of attractiveness. Some certain traits might make you more likely to be attractive to a general populace, but those are few and honestly not rigorously proven. What's ugly to one person might be beautiful to another, and everyone has their own sense of taste. And besides, looks are not everything. Not even close. Whoever told you that was lying, even if it was yourself. I'm not saying there's no pretty privilege. We have a culturally appealing look perpetrated by our media that affects how people get treated. I should know. I'm fat. But I'm serious that how your body is shaped isn't the be-all end-all here. Aesthetic attraction isn't something everyone shares in the first place. And even among those who have it, there are dozens of other factors. Are you a friendly person? Funny? Smart? Kind? Do you have interests and knowledges that go beyond the ordinary humdrum? Look for the good things about you and play them up. Yes, that does mean you have to start by saying nice things about yourself, and I know that can be hard, but it's worth it. There's a lot of truth in the truism that confidence will get you far. Not arrogance, that barely patches over insecurity, but actual self-belief. Even recognizing that you have real qualities worth admiring can be a start. On to our third note. Oh, from return commenter, One Lonely Dude, who says, "Hey Z, thank you so much for all your advice. I've been working on improving myself for a while now, and I do feel much better overall. I've got more friends, a better sense of myself, even a new hobby, woodworking. But I still can't find anyone to date. The group is a total sausage fest. I did manage to ask someone out, but she said no. At least we're still friends. But I'm just so lonely." Oh, I'm so glad that you are doing better than you were. Let's not downplay that aspect. But you're absolutely right that working on yourself isn't a guarantee that you'll find a partner. Sadly, nothing is. One of the big problems facing everyone in this epidemic of loneliness is the lack of third spaces. What I mean is, everyone used to gather in public spaces, right? You had to go out to the market. You used to have public malls and parks and bars. But in the modern day, at least here in the US, it can be really hard to meet new people. And lots of adults have trouble even finding new friends, let alone dates. I know. That's not what anyone wants to hear, but there are ways of working through it. The internet is a double-edged sword. When it comes to dating, there are apps out there, but how good are they really? Especially for men seeking women, it can be really rough. The sites are flooded with guys who spout ridiculous abuse or terrible pickup lines, and even though the right person for you might be out there, she might not see you through all that chaff. And since men make up the majority of users, scammers posing as beautiful women can be overwhelming. It's all a potentially incredibly dehumanizing setup. And besides, the apps make money off your dependence on them, and so they're generally designed to keep you coming back. That's not to say that they can't be helpful. I've met more than one partner or lifelong friend through OkCupid. I've got friends who swear by Field or Coffee Meets Bagel or whatever, but you can't let it define you or discourage you, just because the odds were never in your favor. I want to encourage you to keep getting involved in communities. In-person is obviously best, if you can, but there might be all sorts of reasons you can't. So if you want to join an online community and meet new people, here are some things to look for. You want someplace that has a friendly atmosphere, that encourages getting to know other members, someplace that is well moderated and doesn't support hate speech, someplace that has a lot of local or semi-local members, if you want to meet local people who could potentially hang out in person, maybe introduce you to their friends. There are even dating-oriented groups out there where folks who are looking to go seek community and maybe partners, but I personally find those off-putting. One other thing that is super important but rarely discussed is that the more women, femmes, and queer folk who trust you, the safer other women, femmes, and queer folk will find you. If you have female friends who will vouch for you even just by introducing you to a group, you'll find other women much more open to getting to know you. It's not personal, it's about statistics. Have you ever heard the term Schrodinger's rapist? It's the idea that any guy you meet is potentially a perfectly good friend, or a horrible risk to get to know. Most assault happens not between strangers, but acquaintances, and the risk to women in our culture is utterly absurd. Studies published in 2018, the latest numbers I could find, put the percentage of women who had experienced at least sexual harassment at 81%. That is 4/5 of all women. Not to mention that it's nearly double the percentage of men who had experienced the same. And 20% of women had been raped. So if you're putting this in very simple terms, if you take a statistically average group of 5 adult women in the US, 1 has never experienced sexual harassment at all, 3 have experienced something between harassment and assault, and 1 has been raped. The very reasonable fear that many women have about meeting new men makes it incredibly hard to open up to someone they've just met. But what can tip the odds in your favor is knowing that other women have already made an assessment of you in particular. The fear is general, not about you specifically, so finding ways to mitigate that fear will help. Lonely dude, you mentioned joining a woodworking group, and it's mostly other guys. That's actually great. I'm so happy that you're enjoying that group, and I don't think it's a waste at all. The more social you are, even if it's just with other guys, the better. In fact, use that as a jumping-off point for finding an additional set of folks. You can try looking to see if there are other hobby groups you might like with a better gender ratio, too. Plus, the more people you meet, the more likely you are to eventually find someone that you click with. There is no one true match out there, just lots of imperfect people looking to get through life, the same as you. I definitely feel your pain, lonely dude. You're not wrong to see a problem in your love life while doing everything as well as you can. Keep at it, and you'll find fulfillment, even if love is elusive. Okay, we have time for one more note. This one is from Fishloafer XR, who says, Your heathen godless ways will condemn you to hell, and I'm so sad for you. You could be fulfilled in a heavenly marriage with your one true match right now, creating children for the Lord's army, as you were intended to do. Please repent now and marry me. Now, Fishloafer, we have gone over this before. You do not get to dictate what anyone else does, not even if you believe you're spreading the word of your deity. I may be a purple-haired Jewish NB with their tubes tied, but that doesn't mean that you are any more correct than I am by virtue of what you worship. Every human has a right to choose the path that they will take in life, even women, even children. It doesn't harm you to let me be myself, but it does harm me for you to think that you know me and control me. It's sad, really, the way that you feel like you have to control everything and everyone around you just to feel safe from your own god. And that, I think, is our last message for this episode. Accept that you cannot and do not control other people, and everyone will be happier and more fulfilled, including you. That's a wrap, loves, but don't forget to like, subscribe, and join the Patreon, and leave a question for our next episode of Internet Big-Tiddie Goth GF. Mwah!